The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he doesn't exist. Oh, there he is. Hey folks, Dave here. For the last month or so, I've been doing a lot of traveling and being out and about and away from my studio, and it's been wonderful to actually get some traveling in. But now I'm back in my studio, and I think I just want to sit back, relax, and just create an image from scratch. So every year around Halloween, I start getting inspiration for making some Halloween-themed photos, you know, with ghouls, goblins, skeletons, devils, wizards, all that sort of thing. The problem is all that inspiration usually comes right around October 31st, and by the time November 1st rolls around, it's like, well, I have all year to do it, I'll just do it later. So what I'm going to do this year is try to get a little bit ahead of it and take the fact that I have a bit of time in my studio to go ahead and make a Halloweenish themed, ghoulish, I'm not sure if Halloween theme's really the right word, but you know, ghouls and goblins type image, and just see what I can come up with. So my first step usually with these is to go find a 3D figure that I can go print off and paint. So I have a subscription to Loot Studios. This is not a sponsored video, but I use the service and they have a lot of interesting characters every month. So I started scrolling through all of the options that were available to me, and I came across this character called Kairon the Arcane. I thought that has some potential. So the problem with the figure is that it's very small. It's only about 2 inches when printed, and I wanted in my head to have a photo of a very close-up of the figure. And my painting skills are nowhere near good enough to have a very small figure that close up. So I needed something bigger. So I kept on scrolling through, and I noticed that Kairon the Arcane also came in bust form. Loot releases slightly larger versions of their characters, at least some of them, in a kind of a bust form. And they were larger, so I thought that has some potential. So I threw it in the 3D viewer just to see what it looked like. But then I realized it doesn't have a waist, and that seems unfortunate. So I was going to write it off as not going to work, but then I accidentally came across this view of the figure, and I thought that is an image with potential. So I 3D printed the figure and started painting it up. This is Kairon the Arcane as I figure he should look, all painted up and ready to go. I think the paint job's pretty good for my skill level. I'm very novice when it comes to painting. I think I do a good job, but I've only have 20 hours in, and it takes like 10,000 hours to become expert at something. So I'm still working on improving my skills, but for where I'm at, I think this is actually looking pretty good and I'm ready to go. One of the things that concerns me about this is the flame coming from his hand. Now, the flame coming from his hand is the thing that actually attracted me to this figure, and that framing looks really imposing and dramatic, which I like. But the actual flame, which is rendered beautifully if you're going to have a figure, but it doesn't look like flame, at least not with my paint skills. So I'm going to have to do some of my own magic in Photoshop to get rid of the plastic flames and put in some real flames. So my strategy here is not to light him all at once. So what I'm going to do is light him from various different angles and get various different highlights in all the different places, and then combine it all in post. That way I won't have an annoying light spill, and I'll be able to account for the fact that if the light comes in here, it's going to be blocked by this plastic, but it's going to be generating light in the actual universe. So I'm going to have to add some light in here. So I'm going to have to move lights around to kind of overcome that. And the easiest way to do that is just take multiple shots just by putting a light here, then a light here, then a light here, and a light here, and take a whole bunch of those, and then in post, add them together. Bob's your uncle. Now, normally, if you've been watching my videos, you'll notice that at this point in time, I'll put some background on the TV to act as a background for the shot. The problem is that I really do not know what type of background I want for the shot. I can think of several options, but I really just can't settle on one thing. So I'm just going to shoot this figure as is, and then hopefully in post-processing, when I'm post-processing this magical figure, I'll come up with an idea for a background, and I'll add that background and use my own magic, and that magic is Photoshop. So Kairon here is starting to come along nicely, and it's time to start working on the flames. Over the Christmas break, I was in Disney Springs, and they had one of those rainforest cafe things with the big volcano spouting things. And while I was there, I managed to grab several shots at night of the flames coming out of that volcano. And those are going to make excellent stock images from my own collection that I'll be able to put in here and use real flames to make this effect. So now it's time to start thinking about the background, and as I've been working on this, I've been having Gothic images in my head. So I figured I'll go into my collection of photos that I've taken from all my travels, see if I can find some sort of Gothic structure that I can use to work as this background. I'm going to call this image done, and I am one step closer to having a bunch of images to release over Halloween, which is fantastic. I'm going to leave you with one last look at this photo, but before I do, I want to thank you for watching. And if you like what you see here, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.